Hey guys, welcome to the next installment of the basics of hot rodding your Hot Wheels. Tonight, I'm probably not going to be doing too awful much work on the cars, but I am probably going to hit you guys with some options. So here we go. Let's jump right in. I did drill these cars. This one's only the one rivet right there, well, let me just show you what they're about. If you've never drilled one of these, again, as I've said in the past, this is actually a really nice chassis to work with if you want to use it under something else. It's all metal chassis, very nice rigid. It's a good size, good wheelbase. But if I want to drop the body down, I can do it, but it's not the best looking chassis, and you end up, you have to cut the side pipes off, and heck, the side pipes are kind of what makes this chassis cool. So if you sit a full-bodied car down on it, let's see if I can find something real quick. Yeah, this is a Sweet 16 Firebird. Now, for those of you that know, the Sweet 16 Firebirds were all convertibles, and this one is no longer a convertible. I took the top off a '67 Camaro, newer one, and I adapted it over onto this Firebird. And I also took the hood scoops off. But as you can see, I mean, the wheelbase is a little bit off, but you can see how, well, it's hard to judge here, but if the wheelbase was correct, it would be a nice nice chassis to work with, because you got the side pipes and you got all kinds of cool stuff going on. But that's not what I'm doing. So yeah, the deal with the 34 is this right here. It's a really cool body. It's going to be the main thing we use. I don't know that I'll be using the glass. I doubt if I'll be, I won't be using the seats. Probably the only other piece I'll be using out of that center section, or from this car in general, is just that grille and headlights, or maybe just the grille. It's hard to say. But fenders we don't need. Like I said, we might use the interior. I don't know. I'd have to cut it down, but we'll see. And like I said, the glass I can use, but the main thing is this body, which is just a really nice body. And we'll set the chassis aside, and now I have the dumping A. And this chassis right here is just, now you might see this C-cab again in something, just because I think C-cabs are really, really cool. And I've never done that. I've never cut the body off a dumping A and used it, but I'm thinking that might be a cool thing to do. But you can see why I like this chassis. It's straightforward, simple, and it looks like a 32 frame rail. I mean, it doesn't have, or it looks like a Model A frame rail, actually. It doesn't have the lines that a 32 frame rail has. But I don't know, it's just a really cool deal. And the way this works is you can sit this down right in between those rear bumpers, and with a little bit of grinding work on that pin, which I will do here in a second, the body will actually sit right down over the chassis. In other words, it gives you a channeled car. So let me do that and give you guys a little better look at what this thing's going to look like. Okay, now you can see what we're kind of going for here. Basically, this the body will sit right down on the bumper in the back, and you can see in there the pin is resting right down on the floor. and it's also catching. It also catches the body sides right here. Catch the frame rails. So so there's not really much you have to do to the body to make it fit. Because this is about it to give you that nice channeled look. And you can't really go down too awful much lower than that because of the height of the grill. I mean, if I wanted to, as it is now, the grill will be down below the chassis a little bit, but it'll look really cool because it'll go right down through that opening right there. So that's kind of the basics of this car. Now I'm going to hit you guys with some options, because when it comes to these hot rods, you can really kind of make anything work. With this car, it's really hard to, I mean, on like a 32, you don't have the hood to deal with. But what kind of makes this car cool is that you do have the hood on this car. And removing, and having, taking the hood off would be a lot of work. I mean, you basically have to grind this pin all out and clean up this whole area. And the firewall isn't just flat across. It comes up like that. So it's really not worth doing all that when you can just leave the hood, and then you have the hood to attach the grill to. So it all kind of works. But here are some of the options. Engines. I really kind of like this nail head. I'm not sure what it's out of. I think it's out of a street rodder, and again, would look pretty badass in that chassis, especially having the blower come up through the hood. That's probably my favorite. But one that's right there with it is, I think this is a Ford engine. I'm not real sure, but I love the fuel injection on it. So I could do that. I do this engine and then possibly add the chrome pipes off of this guy, which would look pretty badass. So I also have an engine that I cast. This is a 32 engine, and I think it was a Smitty modified one too, because he always liked putting these carburetors on here. Another Smitty modification was, this is actually the correct interior, but he put 3 carbs on top of the flathead. So that's kind of cool too. That's a Smitty piece. I do have, I do have a couple way too fast engines laying around, which always look cool in something. But for right now, the ones that I'll put up to vote are, I think this is a Ford engine. I'm not sure. So we can say pick between the fuel injected Ford, which would be pretty cool to have those injectors coming up through the hood, or the street rodder nailhead Buick. So I'll put that to the vote, and whichever one you guys like, I'll make work. So either way, I'm good either way. Now for tires, or for wheels rather, I do have a donor Chrysler 300. But here's the thing. With the medium-sized wheels and this front bumper, the front bumper actually has to be bent. And you can do that. And I might do it anyway, even if I run smaller wheels, just to show you how to do it. But you have to heat it to bend it. So I will probably be putting. I do have yet another Viper chassis around with some pretty decent running front wheels. I think they're kind of wide though. They might work actually. We'll see. I'll take them apart and try it out. I think they might work. But I usually just run the bigger wheels just because I like them and bend the bumper out. But maybe I'll put a smaller set on this guy. So that's really about it for tonight. Let me know what you think, either the Ford engine or the Buick engine, and I'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more fitment. I will. Right now the body's fitting a little wonky on there. I'll nip this piece off, and I don't know if I'm going to get fancy and try and drill this out and mount it with a screw, or I might just glue. I'll probably just end up gluing it in for this. But yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Just to let you know, like always, this is Chris, and I will see you in lane 2.